All right, what is up, everybody? This is Terminator Juice, and welcome to the Juice is Loose, number 39. This is actually going to be part 2 of our discussion on the state of gaming, and very excited. This was a great discussion last 2 weeks ago. We got a lot of requests to do a part 2, and we even left a bunch of topics on the board. So this is going to be part 2 of that, and without any further ado, I'm going to have my guests introduce themselves. So take it away.
What's up, everybody? This is Levelhead. Glad to be back with Terminator Juice, and hopefully this podcast be just as entertaining as the first one and informative as well. So looking forward to good discussion with all you guys, and happy to be here.
All right, great.
Hey folks, Mizzah T. Actually, today I'm going to be coming at you with this voice because I have a really sore gum I'm dealing with. So today, instead of Mizzah T, you're going to get subtlety.
Nice. And last but certainly not least.
Hello everybody, it's Nia. I'm back and I'm glad to be back, so let's get it. Yes, let's do this.
All right, and Red Knight couldn't make it. Apparently he's a birthday or something. He's taking a hiatus, and I just said, well, we'll have to do it without him. I didn't really want to, but you know, I wanted to schedule it, and I had nothing else to talk about, so we're going to go ahead and proceed and do the best we can with just us four. But I want to thank you three for coming back, and it was definitely the best podcast I've ever been a part of. Was our first take at this, so hopefully we can come close to living up to that with this one. So thanks for coming back. First, I just want to do a quick recap of what we talked about to get everybody kind of in that mindset. You know, we started off, we just kind of gave a few concerns we have for the industry, but then we moved on to talking about indie games and developers, how they're flourishing right now, and how they have to use creativity to solve a lot of their problems because they don't have the money to throw at every problem, and how that's a positive. Then we talked about when and where did gritty, realistic graphics become like a thing, and we kind of narrowed it down to the PlayStation 1 and Resident Evil 4 for kind of catapulting that style over-the-shoulder, third-person, gritty, realistic visuals into the forefront, and then games like Gears of War just kind of kept that going. Then we talked about how multi-plats seem to be selling hardware more than exclusives, how that kind of started with the 360. That was a really good discussion on how that all came about, how the PS2, you know, sold being the least powerful. That was a really good part there. Then we discussed the Devil's Third for a little bit, why we're excited about it, why we're, you know, the creator of Ninja Gaiden, and why that's a game to look forward to. I also went into why we think the PS4 is selling, and that one was pretty good. That was a good chunk of our discussion. And then it kind of went to Metacritic and how people use Metacritic when it suits their point they're trying to make. You know, it's valid when the game they like gets a good score, the game they hate gets a bad score, but, you know, when it's the opposite, then Metacritic doesn't mean anything. That was pretty fun to talk about. And then we ended with Nintendo and kind of how they got themselves into the situation they're in with the Wii U and the sales, and who was to blame. You know, we covered a lot of bases on, you know, it wasn't just Nintendo, it wasn't just third parties, it was a combination of a lot of bad luck and bad decisions from Nintendo and third parties. So, and then we answered a bunch of questions, and so yeah, that was kind of the recap. And like I said, it was definitely the best podcast I've ever been a part of. So let's get into the topics we left off with, and we'll start with you know, it's gonna be hard to start cold turkey here, but let's try to get going. Patchen Games post-release was one of the topics that I wanted to discuss. You know, what that does to gaming right now, how that's bad, and when did that really start? I can't really pinpoint a single era or game. Maybe the 7th gen, you know, some point at that. But you know, anybody wanna tackle that first, or I can pick somebody if no one volunteers.
To be honest, I don't really know when it started.
Yeah, it's hard
But
to.
I would say it got its legs mostly in the 7th generation, but I would think it started in the 6th.
I would have to get seventh though, because
Yeah.
were sixth generation consoles able to be like updated and stuff like that?
The
Like,
No.
Xbox was for sure,
Well, yeah, you're
wasn't it?
right, Nick. So yeah, that answers it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the original Xbox had some function of
Yeah,
updating,
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
but
And
not
it
a
wasn't much though. It was like,
no.
tiny little things.
So I can't think of like one game that jumps out. Obviously, the most memorable or most recent ones stick out the most. But I'm trying to think like further back, um, But just in general, how do you guys feel like this trend gonna get worse? Are we seeing like the beginning of the end for games coming out polished and finished, other than Nintendo?
Yeah, yeah, I think we've seen the. This is a norm. This is going to be a regular occurring situation with games now because we as consumers bought into it. So it's like, how can you change something that was dominated by the
mhm.
seventh generation? It's we're accustomed to it now. We don't have the patience or the will to keep our money in our pockets and say no to a busted or broken game and force the developers to really take their time to build a good game that's worthy of purchase. We ain't patient enough as gamers as a whole to do that. So until we all work together to bring that about, not it's going to be an existing thing.
I mean, like, what are some examples though of games that, like, I know obviously there's been games that have been patched post release, but I mean, maybe I just don't pay that close of attention, but it doesn't seem like it. I mean, like, it happens, but it doesn't seem like it happens as often as
Well, I
That's
mean,
make it out
like
to.
I said, the most recent ones are the ones that jump into mind. You got the Master Chief Collection, you got Assassin's Creed Unity, you got Battlefield 4, um,
uh,
Still broken.
Destiny,
Grand Theft Autos, online
yeah, Grand
multiplayer,
Theft
all
Auto,
that.
Still broken.
still,
What
yeah.
else? It was so much. It was a lot. The thing is, I didn't buy a lot of these games that were broken though.
Right,
I
right.
didn't.
Maybe
They were
that's
not
why.
games that I would be looking to play anyway. So
Yeah.
I know,
that's my problem with it.
Yeah.
um,
I
the
only
current,
bought one.
yeah, the
That's
Master Chief.
right.
Oh, there's Red Knight. He could make it.
Man, you fired. Get out of here.
Oh my goodness.
We don't want
Happy
you.
birthday, dude.
Oh, we
Oh,
can't
he's
hear you.
can't hear me.
Um.
Technical difficulties. Please stand.
Hello, ladies.
Well.
Hey, folks.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Just y'all already started?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're
live.
live.
You late,
sorry.
man.
Live, man. The show must go on.
We only been on like 8 minutes, so
Oh,
we were just
Bring them up to speed.
we just hit the first topic, Patchen Games post-release. Basically, it started in the 7th gen, and we were just kind of naming some games that were the worst offenders in the last couple years, and that's kind of where we were. We were just talking about Master Chief Collection and Grand Theft Auto Online not working when they released the game, and how that's kind of the standard now for some of these bigger AAA titles is the we'll fix it later mentality, and if that's going to continue, which I think a lot of us would agree it is, and what that's going to do. So, yeah, if you want to chime in, or if you want to, I think somebody was making a point when you jumped in.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say I think y'all got it wrong. The games actually work as intended. They were intended to be broken.
That's what we were missing.
Well, I
Um,
mean, yeah.
Let me. I think the kind of the angle I was going to play devil's advocate. I think in the beginning this was probably looked at. Hey, this could be a good thing if someone discovers a bug or something that they didn't get in testing. That they could fix after the release. The game's not going to be broken forever. So I think in the beginning, maybe there was a positive there, and then once they realized, the light bulb went off. Hey, we can
Yeah.
still make our release date, and then
That-
fix the game later. I think that's when it became a bad thing.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna
Yeah.
say that
Well,
it started with PC, and there was a lot of benefit to that happening. Like you said, you can go back and fix things. There's a lot of games that even in the generations we hold dear, that had bugs and game breaking even, that they couldn't fix. They couldn't patch. There weren't that many of them, but there were a few. And so this started off as a good thing, and anything that starts off good usually ends up bad and used in the wrong way, and that's what's happening in the industry. And like we said, we mostly don't buy these games. I think we're pretty conscious consumers when it comes to this stuff. But I made a video in my early days called "Broken Gamers Equals Broken Games," and this is gonna happen as long as we gamers are broken and we keep buying this stuff. Why should they stop?
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to what it was a video Red Knight just put up. When was that active up? Maybe a week ago, where you was talking about a developer who was interviewed and actually said that they knew the game was broken when they released it.
All right.
So I mean, so it's like what you said. It wasn't. I think what started out to be,
it was like 3 or 4 games they made.
Right. Who was the developer who
I don't even remember. I know it was an Angry Joe video though. He had interviewed them.
Okay. Well, it goes back to what might have started out to be, true, honest mistakes and glitches where they didn't catch it. Troubleshooting and having folks play the game and kind of run into these issues. Once they realized, like what Mizzah T was saying, once they realized the consumers wasn't going to fuss and bark and show their discontent for what they were doing, and they still gave them money, and more of these games were released to the market broken, and the outcry wasn't big and wasn't severe. It's like, shoot, let's just put them out there. Hey, they buying them anyway. Just make it look good,
Exactly.
and market it well, and make sure you gotta have it, and make sure you cover it. Keep those review copies out of people's hands until the day before release, and then you make all your money. By the time people find the glitch, it's too late. You made your money.
That's an important point on this whole situation: is the review embargoes.
Right. I mean that's the worst. That's the worst part of it. I think. As gamers, our voice is supposed to be these journalists.
Right.
And like if you silence them, before we even have a chance to know what the game's about, that's one thing. But then you also will have on the other hand, where again these journalists are supposed to be the unbiased voice of the consumer, supposed to be looking out for us, and they're a little bit too buddy with some of these companies,
Right.
And you have these damage control, if you will, post backlash videos. Video after video, trying to make a bad game look good in hindsight.
Why you not crazy for loving the order?
Exactly. So, I mean, we just screwed all around. Like, that's why we need to, instead of fighting and whatnot with each other all the time, we need to be come together and show our voice, because these guys don't have our backs, man.
Right.
And I forgot to give the disclaimer, there will be grenades launched in this podcast.
Oh, definitely.
Especially now that Red Knight's here. And just a point about the consumers or, Master Chief Collection, still not 100% working.
That's crazy.
Guess what the number one
That's a nice
pre-ordered...
bundle while we at it.
Yeah, and guess what the number one pre-ordered game in America is right now?
Halo 5.
Halo 5 Guardians.
There's no way I'm pre-ordering that game.
That just goes to show, man, it don't matter. The ones that are informed, when you are informed, that you still choose to buy, like it's like me walking into Best Buy and I'm about to buy an iPhone. I know it's broke, but I'm still going to give you this $150 down payment and 2-year contract. I know it's broke. I researched and found out it's broke, but I'm still going to go in there and buy it. What they gonna do when the next iPhone come up? We just release it with a couple of buttons missing. Don't matter. They gonna buy it anyway. It's just stupid consumers, and we kind of damaging and hurting ourselves because we too impatient to demand what we should get and what's worth our dollar. That's not worthy of 60 or 40 or even 30 when something is broken and a promise is not lived up to. You don't deserve the money that you're looking for. If I go to the movie theater and I walk in and the movie all grainy, I'm going out like, look, give me my $15 back. This wasn't worth my $15. But as gamers, we're like, oh, it's all right there. They'll fix it next week. You know, it's like, come on, man, this is bad business.
People think that about the frame rate. So, oh, they'll patch it later.
They make excuses for these dudes now. Like,
they don't patch the frame rate. That's part of the game engine. Like, I don't see why they would be able, unless they, like with Sonic Boom, try to take away some of the visuals or something, downgrade it or something. Maybe you could get the frame rate up, but it's crazy. And we said the 7th gen, but I think Mizzah T kind of quickly mentioned PC, and I think the PC Master Race, maybe where this began, was on PC with those capabilities of a PC. Yeah. I think that's probably where it began.
So, but yeah, because I thought we were just isolating consoles, but
yeah, I mean definitely in consoles.
Well, consoles are trying to become more and more like PCs every day.
Right.
That's the problem I see anyway.
And they're doing it wrong.
They're doing it wrong, right?
Could it also be that the Western market, as far as the developers, have pretty much gained majority control in gaming now?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a Western mindset, whereas I doubt if Japan was still in control of, you know what I'm saying, the sway of the market, I doubt we'd be getting so many broken games.
It's mostly the Western guys that are doing it, though.
Right.
I hate to say that, but it really is a Western mentality. Like, we're all about, okay, well, let's go and get this money. You know what I'm saying? Get this product out real quick. They don't care if it don't work first day. They're going to buy it regardless. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's something that we do because we are, you know, in a consumerist society and we're gluttons for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, regardless of what they're doing, I mean, people are going to buy it. Like somebody said earlier, like, even when people are informed about what's going on, they still support the stuff, just hoping and being optimistic. Now, I try to be optimistic about games too, but there are some things that's just like, okay, well, this is just what it is.
Right.
Red Knight's being quiet because he's like, I don't buy broken games that need to be
I was going to just say, it's crazy that in 2015, not even 2015, I would say since 2014, earlier, of course, for a lot of us, but gamers now, the main question of gamers who are informed, like you said, a lot of them don't care, still, even the informed ones, but a lot of us now, we go into games wondering, all right, even if it looks good, is it going to work? And I think that as an industry just shows that we're messed up. Like, if we have to question if our products are going to work because everybody's just putting out broken games and garbage.
Yeah,
it's crazy that now we have to go in wondering, yeah, but is it going to work? Does it work? And then you can't even trust the media because they'll lie, and they don't have the consumer's best interest. You know, when they actually talk and they have the dollars of said publisher, you know, not even under the table no more. It's literally on the table where we can see it. And so they're not going to tell us, oh yeah, you know Halo 5? Yeah. Remember Master Chief Collection a year ago? Basically that, but a little bit worse. They're not going to say that. They're going to be, oh, you got to go buy this. Did you play online? Oh no, I didn't have time to yet. But they did try. They just couldn't get online because it was broken. But they don't want to say, like, it's crazy.
Before the video starts, like, you get an advertisement for the game they're about to talk about, like, conflict of interest much?
Oh yeah, I saw that for Final Fantasy.
Especially for the order. Like
I was looking at a Final Fantasy trailer. When was it? Last night, and not a trailer. It was a gameplay from PAX. And I don't know about y'all. Like, yeah, graphics. Obviously, everything looks pretty nowadays. But the game, I don't know if it was the person playing, but that game looked terrible. It was like some big dragon thing that looked cool, like it looked nice, but the way it was even animated, it was all floaty, and I was like, "What is this?" And then the dude was just trying to like run away, not even fight it. But I was just like, "This is crazy."
It didn't throw a rock at him, I bet.
And people, yeah, basically, and people gonna you know pre-order that 10 times more than something like Xenoblade, which is insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Did you say anything about Skyrim?
I was gonna say Bethesda. I was gonna name
Yeah, I heard so many stories about how that game was broken on so many levels. You know, stage literally ripping apart, or maybe a dragon is in the scene, and then the next you turn around, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's flying backwards.
And speaking
flying backwards. You know, it's like it's just come to the point where once they figured out, you know, they can sell us underdeveloped unfinished stuff, and we don't mind buying it. We opened up Pandora's box, and it just is what it is.
And guess what the number 3 pre-ordered game is in America? Elder Scrolls Online from Bethesda. their next game after Skyrim.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Nintendo. I think we figured it out. The brilliant strategy they should use. They should go to E3, and when they announce Zelda, I know the game is gonna work, which I guess that kind of sucks now for gamers. But they should go and when they announce the title, they should definitely put broken in the title, like Legend of Zelda Broken Sword, something like that, because I think it will really get these gamers to look like, oh, it's broken.
Take my money.
I bet you that it'll pass Halo as most pre-ordered game.
Because it got broken in it.
Because they like broken games. You know what it is? They say, if we get it broken, all we can anticipate is our actual game being better. So if it's an 8 out of 10 broken game, it's eventually going to be a 10 after the first 17 patches.
Because I'm something to look forward to.
Yeah, something to look forward to. Forget DLC, like what we wanted. We wanted you to touch our games to make them better, not to use it as an excuse to sell us broken games and then patching them. Like, you get more patches to try to fix a game than you get DLC, add-on content, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, let me ask y'all this then. So say like there's a game that comes out and like it's not up to snuff, and then they go in and they patch it. Do you think that like reviewers should go in and fix their scores based on what they fixed, or do you think the score should be as they were?
Should remain the same, in my opinion.
The review should be for the game that was available at launch.
Right.
There should be like a updated section. I don't think the score should change. I just think it should update, these problems are ironed out, blah blah blah.
Well, it depends on how hyped up the game is. If it's hyped up enough, they'll just do a review for the parts that are there, and then they'll do a separate review when they add the rest of the game.
Because that's what they did with
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto when the online didn't come out. I distinctly remember IGN wouldn't review the game, wouldn't give a score.
Wasn't it review in progress?
No, they reviewed the game minus the online.
You had to review the game and then count the online. Yeah, that's part of it.
Right, and they didn't count the online into their score. And
then,
that's how the score stayed at, I think it was like 9.5 or something like that. But had they counted the fact that the game didn't deliver on what was sold by the developers and the I guess the whoever made the Rockstar, that would have knocked the game down. And if I was the reviewer, I would like, since online wasn't here and it's supposed to be here, I gotta knock it for that.
Wasn't
then when it came out, it was broken for like a month. Gotta knock it for that. So
yeah, they wouldn't do that. And then I called out Jose Otero on Twitter, and he actually replied because he wasn't going to put the Smash review up until he got to play online multiplayer, because Nintendo had that locked behind an update that came out at launch. So they wouldn't get the review out because he couldn't play online multiplayer just to test. Even though he could play local up to 8 players and get the feel of playing up, he held the review, and I called him out on that. I said, well, IGN's policy is to review it separately. And he's like, oh, that was... here's the head of reviews from IGN. I'll let him answer that. And he made a bunch of BS about why they did that and why it's different with Smash. And it's like, it's
always different when it's Nintendo.
They just went all in with the damage control on that, and I don't think they were expecting to be called out on that. So.
Oh, you Nintendo and your conspiracy theories.
Yep. That's it. So, yeah. Anything final thoughts before we move to the next topic?
Nope.
All right. And if people want to ask questions, I'm not going to answer all the questions. If we get a ton of them, we're going to try to keep this podcast a little shorter than last time. So, but feel free to submit those in the Q&A app. Next, I want to talk about, and it feels like we're just bashing on third parties and these big multiplats, but developers are maybe forced by the publisher to show their game off before it's ready. So what they show is like a target render or running on a high-end PC, like a super high-end build that's never going to be possible on the PS4 or Xbox One.
No way.
that, it's happened a few times. This isn't like all the time now, but I remember BioShock Infinite started it pretty much, and then you had The Last of Us showed. I mean, they came pretty close, but they showed a few things that they didn't make the final cut. And then the worst offender, we all know, Watch Dogs.
Didn't Killzone 2 start that?
Killzone, oh yeah, Killzone
Yeah.
2. Yep, I forgot about that one.
And I think Division is gonna be the next
Oh
legendary
yeah,
one.
I predict Division. I predicted that at
Division.
this.
That's gonna be literally that one city block we've been seeing for 2 years already.
And all that, like,
and look at the snow. Look at the snow. The snow is falling. Snow. Like,
isn't that the name of the game engine?
Seen enough of it in real life already.
So yeah, I mean, this trend's obviously going to continue. I mean, there's no reason not to stop. Even though Watch Dogs did, a lot of people called them out on it. Still sold, 8 million copies. I mean, didn't, maybe that hurt them for a few 100,000. I don't know, but it's gotten to the point where people saw Mario Kart 8 and accused that of being CG, not being the game. Like when it was the Mario Kart TV footage, they would show a trailer using just the replays. And how awesome that game looked. People actually accused that game of being CG, and Nintendo showing it, falsifying what the game was going to look like, and then it comes out and it looks just like that. So,
but Nintendo games can't look good.
No,
it is only 59 frames per second, not 60.
But in that one sentence, it looks so good at CG. In the next sentence, it's got jaggies, and it
doesn't look that good, right?
Yeah,
so once it comes out and looks as good as they said it would, now it doesn't look that good anyway.
So, I mean, did you guys all feel that way about the Watch Dogs reveal? I mean, the Killzone one, I barely remember what that looked like. If someone remembers that one, but Watch Dogs 2 years later.
Oh yeah.
Looks significantly less. I mean, just the overall engine and the gameplay mechanics were all stripped down. So, I mean,
I was blown away. I was blown away by that game. I was really looking forward to it after that initial release. And, obviously the graphics were gorgeous and all that, but that's not the only thing that got downgraded. The gameplay got downgraded. Like that whole scenario that was in that first trailer of it didn't happen in the game at the end of the day. So it wasn't just the graphics that got downgraded. The game itself, all that talk about the hacking, and like there's better hacking in Deus Ex Human Revolution. Like, so.
I just want to add to that before we go any further. Like, not only showing like a target render, but they also show a completely scripted scenario that's not even possible with the gameplay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's not even in the game anymore. That whole scenario, the whole where he walks in the club and all that stuff. I mean, it's partially in there, but it's way different. Like, it's not as.
So basically, that was just all around false advertising.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they showed it like it was like this dynamic system where you could just manipulate the world, and it would be different every time you played it. It'd just be so amazing.
I remember when they first showed it. I remember. Because he was walking down the street, he walked into the bar, he talked to this person, he talked to that person, then he ran out and, got to this altercation, I guess, shootout with a few cars. And, but I don't know, I just had an inkling that was PC, and it wasn't going to be what Ubisoft was going to deliver, man. I mean, Ubisoft rarely delivered anything that they paint it to be. So
I don't even think the PC version looked like that.
No, the PC wasn't even like that. That's the thing. The PC version.
Oh, the PC version didn't even look like that?
They dumbed the PC version down to look like the PlayStation 4 version. Like, that was...
Wow.
They wanted parity, like... So
did they get in trouble for that, or nothing happened?
Well, they got.
A lot of people were mad about it. I mean, shoot, a lot of people were pissed off.
It was something they got sued about.
Well, that E3 like settings were hidden in the code. They didn't even remove it from the code. So somebody on PC found those settings, and it made the game look closer to the E3 build.
Yep.
But then they said they took it away because of optimization and stuff. But they didn't take it away. They just tried to hide it in the code. And,
okay.
Of course, that wasn't like huge news, but it was definitely talked about. So it's like
Ubisoft screws over freaking PC people too.
I thought they got sued for doing something on the lines of what we're talking about. I thought they got in.
No, the only thing people that got sued was Sony or someone tried to do a lawsuit about lying about the resolution and frame rate of Killzone.
Yeah,
Maybe
Killzone
that's what
kinda
I'm
cool.
thinking
Yeah,
of.
that's what it was. It was like a class action. But the thing about Watch Dogs is that, like I said, it wasn't even about the graphics to me. It was about how he was manipulating the world and how seamless all that was going on. That's what excites me about video games, gameplay. Like that's, to me, that was like a new way to play a game, and that's why I was excited about it.
Right. I was super excited for Watch Dogs, and then like it started like getting close to release, and it didn't look like anything they showed us. So like, you know what? I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
Yeah, I remember saying, "Wow, that's like a next gen. Like that's built. Like that's a true next gen game from gameplay and
Right.
visuals." It was like people were like, "There's no way that has to be next gen." There's no, because it was back before the systems were announced and stuff.
Yeah.
So if I just real quick, the Killzone, it was Killzone 2 on the PS3, right? That they showed like almost live
It
footage.
was
It looked
Killzone 2, yeah,
It was.
It
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 almost,
was
was
CGI, and they said it was the game. It was end up being CGI.
totally whack.
that was the infamous. What was that? The 2005 E3.
Yeah, that was
2005.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I remember
showed the
I had like.
No, it was 2006. It was 2006.
the same year they showed Gears of War was the
The year
same year
before
they
the game.
showed that game.
The system came out the year before, or the
Yeah,
year
it
it
was the
came
year
out. That's
before.
when.
I
No,
remember.
it was a summer before it came out. That's when they had that.
All
E3.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
2005 E3 trailer for Killzone 2.
Yeah, but I remember having like 6, 7 people over. This was back when I lived still with my mom's, and it was just a bunch of friends. We were all watching all the E3 shows, and I remember when they showed that boomerang controller, and I remember the first thing I said, PlayStation is not changing their controller, and that controller right there is humanly impossible to play a video game with. It just doesn't make sense for human hands.
Yeah.
Because the buttons were all going in the opposite way of the way. Like, look at the controller today and think about it. And I remember everybody was, "Oh, you a fanboy." This is back then.
Yeah.
And then they show kills, and I'm like, "Geez, y'all believe this? This is fake. Like, how is the gun moving without no pointer?" I was like, "This is fake." And they argue, "Oh, you hating because the PS3 gonna be better than the Wii, blah blah blah."
Yeah,
Then
I'm
the
watching it right
Revolution
now,
at the
by the way.
time. And then years later now, revisionist history. That day never happened. They all claimed, "Oh, yeah, no, that controller was stupid." And Killzone, come on, we knew that wasn't gonna look like that. I swear, I wish I had a camera that day, because it was like they were sitting there just calling me a hater, and I'm like, "Look, I'm looking at this is not real."
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
And
I'm
nothing
watching
that
it
they
right
showed
now.
was real.
Yeah.
The way the gun moves is so like there's no way.
It's like a
there's
Wii remote.
control.
It's
Like,
no-
yeah,
Like,
it's,
you can't, like, how are they doing that?
yeah, it's. I mean, and it doesn't even look now. I'm used to like graphics being better, so it doesn't. I'm not seeing the amazing visuals, but back then I'm guessing this probably was like holy crap, because it
Yeah.
looks close to PS4 type. I mean, like maybe low res PS4 graphics.
That was the same year they showed Killing Day, right? That's what it was called. When the guy was like shooting the statues and he was changing his hands from gangster shooting to regular to he was dual wielding guns. Whatever that game was, I think it was called Killing Day or something like that, or Payday.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was like, this is fake too. Like nothing that they're showing is real. And I was the biggest hater for like a year until they all decided to get Xbox over PlayStations.
Yeah, that was the year I decided to get the Xbox. I wanted the PlayStation, but when I saw that CGI, I was like, man, that's CGI. I can tell everything about it says CGI. It didn't say that was actually reachable at the time. And when it came out that it was CGI, I remember getting into it. I ain't gonna say who, but I remember we had the argument about. I was like, I told you that was CGI, man. He was like, well, I was like, well, I told you it was. So and that was the same thing with Killzone for the PlayStation 4. Got into it with some people, and I was like, dude, I'm telling you, that's not going to be what you're going to get. It's going to look good, but it ain't going to look like what they showed you. And, of course, it didn't. And actually came out that they was lying about the resolution, even on the package.
Mm-hmm.
So
if Nintendo did that, I'm sorry. As much as I love those games, if they pulled that kind of crap, I wouldn't be a Nintendo fan. That's just
It's just lies.
Right.
I mean, you might as well because that Zelda wasn't real. Don't what you saw
Oh,
at the
yeah,
Game
that's Zelda.
Awards.
What
That
about
wasn't real
Knack?
gameplay.
Remember Knack was supposed to be like a Disney movie? Remember
Mhm.
that?
Oh man,
It
that's the
didn't
thing
even
with
look
the
as Knack didn't even look as good as 3D World, Mario 3D World. It didn't even look as good as that. And that's
No.
I
not
feel
being
like
a
I feel
Nintendo.
like Sony's their motto for like this generation is cinematic because of
Yeah.
Uncharted got their head big, then Last of Us exploded it, and so now everything is gonna be like that. So even the games are all gonna be like decent. They're all gonna be ruined by cinematics.
Yeah.
I think everything. I think Uncharted, everything is gonna be ruined by it because I think that's just the mentality they got. Like that's their thing. Like you want cinematic experience, buy a PlayStation. That's the reason why. It's like I don't even think that's in the cards for me.
Why are people so surprised? Like Sony, especially Sony's been doing this since 1995. Like it's nothing new. Like they'll show you the freaking they'll show you the CG trailer for the game and the commercials. They always did that. I remember
Especially
like
Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy and
VII.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
you never saw gameplay. All you saw was like the CG trailers or the CG cutscenes and whatnot from the game. And people be like getting all hyped up. I'm like, the game doesn't look like that, man. Nah, man, that game was gorgeous. I'm trying to tell you, it doesn't look that good.
At least they actually showed cutscenes from the actual game, and now they just don't. They just take stuff that doesn't even end up in the
It's not
game.
even in the game.
They just make
That
it up.
doesn't even exist. They might as well just show like when they show Uncharted at E3, they might as well just show like the actor with all the blue, with the blue suit and the dots all over him, running around. Don't even show the game. Just show him
Right.
doing motion capture.
You see that
And be
motion?
like, just envision a rich world around him, and imagine, countless enemies running at you.
Show Andy Serkis with.
Hey, Andy,
Oh man.
Imagine if the Lord of the Rings would have just been the Andy Serkis footage with the green screen behind him, instead of Gollum, the CG.
But why should they stop? Again, just like with the patches and stuff. Why should they stop? Because it works. It works.
Right.
Well, I jokingly said during the first podcast we did on the subject that Nintendo, for their advertising, should just make some awesome CG trailers for all their games with no gameplay, just complete CG, top of the line CG, and just show that because it works.
it's hard to do that when they don't have no CG for the game.
Well, yeah.
Even Mario Kart didn't have a CGI intro this time.
No, they could go with the like they did for the Smash for Rosalina's.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, or the Fire Emblem stuff they did.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, they could have did that and not even show the game at all.
Yeah, because I was thinking it was a Wii U game. When they showed that trailer at first.
I thought it was
my
Mario Kart,
gosh.
yeah. So I mean, deception seems to work on some people, a lot of people.
Because people want to be hyped up. They want to be excited. Like
Right.
immediately.
Yeah,
They don't really.
Bragging.
You took it out my mouth, Nia. They want to be lied to. Lie to me, Trick. Lie to me.
Nobody wants to sit down and watch a trailer where they have to analyze what's going on with the gameplay. Like they just want to show them something pretty, and
Yeah.
that's
I
what
will
it is.
give Bloodborne credit. There's a lot of gameplay footage.
Yeah, Bloodborne has.
Yeah, Bloodborne looks good. I almost bought the PlayStation 4. But then I started seeing a whole bunch of gameplay videos coming up, and the more I watched it, the more I was like, I don't think I stayed playing that long. So
No,
And notice what type of studio is making that game.
Japanese.
Japanese, yeah.
There you go.
But you have to like the Dark Souls games. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the
you gotta
same-
kind of be in that.
same
flavor.
gameplay, that just difficult,
Yeah.
ridiculously hard boss fights, but this looks like the setting and everything looks really appealing to me. I don't like that style gameplay. So
And I think that's Nintendo's problem. I think Nintendo's problem is they too honest.
Lying.
Right. I mean, I gotta give it. You gotta. As much as Sony, I know people think we probably bashing Sony, but this is just factual truth. You can't knock it. This is actually facts. This ain't no opinion. Sony is known for lying. Through advertising, through spec count, through even down to their sales counts. Sony lies a lot, but it works. It works, and it works for them well to the point that, like we was talking last podcast, the PlayStation 4 is selling like crazy with much or nothing to play, but because Sony knows how to appeal to consumers, and I think Nintendo might need to borrow something of that, because you know, just think if they lied and then they actually sold the game like they are, like what we are already getting, but they lied about embellished a little bit. I wonder how their sales will be then. You know, like Active was
I'm
saying, they
telling you,
need to
it won't
make some
work.
CGI videos and say this is what you're gonna get, but you actually get this. At least it ain't broken. You know, it just don't look like what they what they show.
Nah,
But at
it won't
least
work.
whatever they get is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
good
that's what I'm
game that
saying.
works.
I'm gonna tell
And
you
longer
why.
than
Why
go
what
ahead, my
Sony
bad.
does? Oh well, so what Sony does won't work for the simple fact for Nintendo. It won't work because every website would do their jobs.
Yeah, you right.
They'll be like,
You
"What
right.
are you
Nintendo,
doing? This
yeah.
lying." They'll be yelling it from rooftops. What they don't do for Sony, they'll do it from. They'll be, "Oh no, the
Nah,
Nintendo's lying. They lie. They lying. They lying." They always try
why
to
is
catch
that though? I mean, I know that's
because
off
Nintendo
topic,
don't
but
give them money. Nintendo don't care about their Game of the Year awards. Nintendo don't care about nothing. It's like we not gonna break our backs for y'all. Like y'all not important at the end of the day,
Yeah.
You have
and
to
that's
remember
what
a
bothers
lot of
them. They want to
co-
feel special.
because a lot of these
It's like
companies have basically made them like rock stars at this point.
yeah, exactly. It's like us right here, right? We all got our channels. Let's say we were just like just a giant. We just a clique. We just a group, and we just start acting like everybody else. We're like, you know what? We're not covering Nintendo no more because they don't care. They doing Nintendo Directs. They ain't paying us to blah blah. They just be butthurt. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The whole time they just upset about the fact that Nintendo is. Every time you hear the complaints about Nintendo, 90% of them, even from gamers now, is they should be more like Sony and Xbox.
hmm
So it's like, hold on, so you want three of the same thing.
Right.
So basically, you got twins right now that you can have sex with, and you don't want to branch out to something different. You got two twin white girls, but then you don't want to have sex with a different like a black girl, a Spanish girl, or something. It's like, no, I want another white girl that looks just like those two. She gotta have blonde hair, blue eyes. It's like, why you don't want variety? You have the freedom to have sex with anybody, and you're like, no, give me the same things. All right, if you say so. I know that's a
Yeah.
crazy analogy, but I mean, it
I
makes
love
sense,
your
right?
analogies, man.
How
I
does the
definitely
analogy
cannot
work for you,
relate.
Nia?
I definitely cannot relate to
I had
that.
to
All right, hold on.
I
Let me
had to
switch.
get up. I had to get up on that, and I was like, okay, oh Red, where you going?
Hold on. So,
Where
so,
you going with
so
this,
we
Red?
got a lady present. So you got right. You got the freedom to have sex with anybody, right? And you already got two Shokios,
Oh my Jesus.
right? And they say, hey, you can have something else. Pick and choose. And you be like, nope, I want a third Shokio. Matter of fact, I want Will Smith.
Oh my Jesus.
You know, so it's basically the same thing. Like, you don't want to branch out.
But you making a good point, Active. It's crazy how when you think back to the Super NES and Genesis, when you got like let's say Ninja Turtles, they were totally different games depending on what system you bought.
hmm
Whereas now we're fussing about which one looks brighter. You know, it's like wow, we went from
Pathetic.
this like I distinctly remember when Turtles in Time came out on the Super NES, and then the Genesis got another game by a different name,
Yeah.
and they both was good games, but you was fussing about which one was better because they were like you were saying, Active, totally different games,
Yeah.
and they might have had the Ninja Turtles in it,
Even the licensed ones, like, or Ninja Turtles is obviously licensed, but I meant like movie games. Like even
Right.
like Jurassic Park was different on Super Nintendo than it was on
Mhm.
the 60 or
Right.
64, Sega Genesis.
Genesis.
They were
Yeah.
all different. Like those were games that you would expect to be the exact same, game, and just like they want to throw it out there and make the money off the name. So you would
Mhm.
expect the movie game to be the exact same on both. Nope, it was completely different.
Yeah.
and that's what made you
Terminator 2.
have to own both. Cause
Yeah.
you knew I wasn't getting, even though I bought the same, I might have bought a Ninja Turtle game, I wasn't getting the same game across both platforms. But now we buy two platforms or three. Let's say we all have all three. Now you're getting something different on the Wii U, but between the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, the third party, you getting literally this one is 720p, this is 900p. This one is 30 frames per second. This one is 35 frames per second. Because it might say it's 60, but it drops down to 28. So you really ain't getting no variety, you just fussing over. Well, that light was brighter than this, and that lamp looked, like Angry Joe. Look at that lamp, on.
Oh,
I love that part. That's a good looking lamp, So it's crazy how we got to this point to where we are fussing over how bright a game is rather than fussing over which developer did the best job.
And I got a better analogy than Reds. Maybe Neil will answer this one. Would you rather have 3 Honda Civics, same color, same everything, or would you rather have a Honda Civic, maybe a pickup truck, and a Corvette? Like, I mean, you don't want to drive the same car, but if you had the means, you'd want your truck for when you have to haul stuff. You want your Civic for you want good gas mileage. And you got a Corvette or any sports car for when you want to go out and have fun.
you know what? I can relate to that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, with the
Let me
Xbox
add on to that one. No, but for real, let me add just a little bit to it, right? So you got your different cars, right? And one of them is a 4-door, and it has a car seat in the back for your kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your kid or whatever. And then somebody says, "Hey, but look, I'm gonna give you this sports car right here. It's a 2-seat," and you're like, "Nah, I need a car seat in the back too." He said, "But you already got a car that does that. This is for you when you're gonna go out with your lady when the kids is gonna stay at home." It's like, no, I want a car seat, but it doesn't make sense. Now, the point of this analogy is third-party games. Like, you own a system that gets third-party games, but it's like, no, I want the Wii U to have third-party games too. It's like, why? You're going to get games here that work, and you're going to get a bunch of Nintendo exclusives that you can't get anywhere else. Oh, but it needs third-party. But you already got a PlayStation or an Xbox. So you can just get them there. You're going to get them there anyway. And don't act like, oh, no, it's because I want them to take advantage of what the Wii U is. It's like, stop lying, because you don't like variety. If you did, you wouldn't even be playing with a PlayStation controller again for the 1,000th time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like you buy that because that's where you're gonna get your third-party games. And it's funny people use that as an excuse towards the Wii U. And it's like, is it gonna be your main platform? Is it gonna be your secondary? So stop complaining.
Yeah, that's a good topic that comes up a lot where people are like, why can't Nintendo be more like Xbox Live and this? Why can't they be more like this? And it's like, because you want them to, once they start acting like Microsoft, then like you said, we got 3 of the same thing, and I don't think
then
that's
we got a whole bunch of broken games, big please, with patches.
But just real quick, we'll move on. That was kind of a off topic, but it was a good one. Mizzah T shared a video, and this relates to the Sony lying to the consumers during their reveal of the PS3 and its true HD quality. One of their PowerPoints or whatever, was firm hardware level security. I don't know if you guys remember PSN getting hacked a few years back.
Like 7 times right now.
Great hardware level security. Okay, so there's just another thing. But so let's get on to the next one. We got some questions pouring in, so maybe we'll just try to hit. I'm going to combine 2 of the topics together. We got annualized games and season passes becoming kind of the standard. Everyone knows Call of Duty, pretty much annualized, but Madden did it since 93 or 92, FIFA since like 94, so they've been around a long time. And, Guitar Hero tried it, and it failed because it was just too much. Tony Hawk tried it, failed, both Activision. And but with Call of Duty, it works. And also with season passes, they're selling you content for $50, $60 before you even know what it is, and people are paying up front for it. And so I think we can focus on Call of Duty, but there's a lot of other games like Assassin's Creed becoming annualized. I predict Far Cry will be the next Ubisoft annualized franchise. I think we'll see Far Cry 5 this November. So what do you guys think? Is annualized games good, bad, indifferent?
Well, they tried to do it with Batman too, but that didn't work out so well.
Oh yeah.
I just think it depends on the type of game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think that all annualized games are bad. Like, obviously, games like Call of Duty where you're just pointing at people and shooting, it's like, okay, whatever. That could be like an annual thing, but like something like Assassin's Creed that actually, tries to have like a story and like some type of lore to it, I think that being annualized can kind of just ruin the formula a little bit, and people can get burnt out on it. And then not only that, for games like that, I feel like developers need that extra time to actually kind of try to develop it,
Come up with a good story.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what happened with Arkham Knight. Rocksteady needed time, so they had some other studio make Arkham Origins, WB Montreal, I believe, and it was a lesser game. And then they wanted Batman out in November, and they said one of the few times they actually delayed it so that they could polish it up. Now it's due out in June. But I think if that game was coming out every year, I just think that would die quick because
Yeah.
that combat's fun, but I don't want playing through a whole game. It's like they're pretty long games, so to play through that every year, and definitely
I get bored with it even when I'm playing whatever individual game I'm playing, like throughout the campaign of that game. So to have it come out every year, is just that's way too much. And we were just talking about like the benefits of basically the PC era of console gaming, where you can do patches and all this stuff. This is a benefit that they're not utilizing when it comes to these annual games, like Call of Duty and easily the sports games.
Mm-hmm.
You could patch in the new roster. You can patch in a new map or even a new campaign to some of these games. And the fact that they're not doing anything special with the engine or the gameplay, especially Madden.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they doing that? And offering it for $20, to get the updated roster and the new, whatever little, fandangle thing they want to do to it. Why are you having to buy a $60 game every year? That's basically the same damn game with a different roster and maybe a different presentation.
Yeah,
I think that would work out with games like Call of Duty. I think that would be successful.
Call of Duty especially.
I think
Yeah.
Madden and the NBA and all the sports games should be doing that. Like that should be.
Yeah.
People should be demanding that. There's no excuse for it unless you have a brand new game engine.
New engine, right? Every 3 years or so, drop a new. Yeah, if you want to drop a new one, then do that. Like,
that would give them a lot more time to actually focus on the gameplay and the engine and improving it instead of just trying to work on making it the one feature that's new this year or something that they try to sell you on. And people, Madden definitely has dropped off, but it's still selling a couple million.
Well,
copies.
There's no competition. That's why.
I mean, but would that mean they would have to like change the name of the game instead of having like the year? Or would the year be patched in as well with the update? I mean, how would they do that? I don't know.
They could just make it Madden Football, and you pay for the roster every year, and that kind of ties into the next topic, which was DLC. That could be DLC done right, where you
get
don't
an update notice for everything else. Why can't I get an update notice for Madden? The new roster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you bought a $60 game, you should be able to get a new roster if you don't buy the new next year game. Like they actually used to do that in the first beginnings of updating. That's where the original Xbox actually, I know it had updates because it could update the roster on NBA or NFL 2K.
Yeah.
They actually could update the roster. So they couldn't like create brand new characters at that time, but they could reshuffle with trades and stuff your rosters. So that's kind of like a good use for DLC, which could replace having to buy like a game $60 every year.
Right.
But I don't know, with Call of Duty, they could probably get away with map packs and stuff, but they're not going to do that right now when they're making
money. So
So that's what I was saying. But it should be the practice with these annual games. Not every game fits the annual style. Like I heard somebody talk about Assassin's Creed. I don't think Assassin's Creed should be an annual game. In my opinion, it doesn't fit what annual games do. Like I can see Madden being an annual game, because of what it deals with. But like Terminator was saying, I think if you own, like say for instance, you own Madden 2015. When 2016 comes, you should get the option of updating your game for a lesser price, maybe $20, $30. They update your roster, you know what I'm saying, and all that. Whereas if you didn't own 2015, you go out and buy the physical disc for $60. But to me, I think that's what's killing Assassin's Creed is coming out annually. I don't think they have enough ideas to really. They touted that whole boat situation with Black Flag, and I fell for it, because I only played 2 Assassin's Creed games, and that's the third one and the fourth one, and I think I may have played 2 hours of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I'm still stuck on the water. I just hate the game. It's just not. To me, it wasn't fleshed out. It wasn't really thought through for real. And I think they just threw some mechanics onto what they done with Assassin's Creed 3. Built from there, threw some mechanics on that they maybe should have worked on maybe another year or two and released a proper game. And then it seemed like that same thing happened with the Unity version, where too many Assassin's Creeds are coming out too quick to really perfect any one of them. So you're getting a bunch of half-baked gameplay, but you're still paying $60 for stuff that ain't really finished and ain't really thought through well. And if they would have saved the ideas for Black Flag and maybe unified it with Unity, maybe would have got a good Assassin's Creed game.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't think it fits that formula of annual. I think Ubisoft is making a bad business choice with trying to make that game annual. They should skip at least 2-3 years.
Well, it's in the short term, it's going to make them good money, but in the long term, it's going to kill.
Yeah,
the franchise.
they're gonna kill that franchise off so quick because
It's dead now. It's just people don't know it's dead,
well,
man.
people have already expressed, especially after the whole when Unity was broken and like people didn't have like faces and stuff. People was like, all right, I'm done.
Right. and to me, Assassin's Creed too. If they got away from just trying to do the history thing and just take it a whole nother path, I think Assassin's Creed could be a great game. I think they kind of limited to where it can go because they want to stay so close to history that some of these people just ain't interested. Like Assassin's Creed 3, I don't care about George Washington. He wasn't interested. Some of these people are not interested. So if they can get away from the historical aspect and just make Assassin's Creed, because it seems like they got a good storyline that can go farther than just history lessons. If they can go beyond that script and do something out the box, I think Assassin's Creed can be. I think fresh air can be breathed in Assassin's Creed to be a great game.
I'd love to see it in like a modern setting. Oh wait, Watch Dogs.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Grenades launched.
Grenades.
But the problem with Assassin's Creed is also the fighting mechanic is just terrible. It's dull. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's stupid when you're like sword fighting. It just doesn't work that well.
Very lame.
Especially Black Flag. I like 3, but I didn't like Black Flag's mechanics at all.
Yeah, it was just cluttery or clunky, and it just wasn't fun. I played 5 hours of that game. I still have it. And
can I say this?
Mm-hmm.
And when they took the gamepad extra functionalities out of Black Flag that was in Assassin's Creed 3. That also killed Black Flag for me because you couldn't use the gamepad the same way.
Kind of like the
changing weapons and all that. So,
like what happened with Batman Arkham.
Yeah, they stripped.
Those were the goodbye lazy releases. We out of here. But honestly, Assassin's Creed is gonna either die off soon or it's gonna get even more popular when the movie comes out, depending on what the quality of the actual movie is.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And I don't know, like I feel like if they wanted, all right, they got 600 people working on these games. I don't know why, but they do. And obviously they want to pay these people every year. But I would just, instead of doing Assassin's Creed every single year, I would just had Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia, and just to have variety.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't even have them in the same graphical style. Like I'll try to use the same engine because I think you can make a Prince of Persia game with the Assassin's Creed engine, obviously, but I would still try to switch up the style so it feels like variety.
Yeah, that would have been probably a smarter choice for the gamers and for their long-term success of the franchises.
I don't think they care about that really that much. They just want to milk what it is that they're making, and it is like, oh no, if we make Prince of Persia, we got to actually change the character.
Mm-hmm.
Not much, but we still got to change them. It's like you got 600 people. You telling me you can't?
That Ubi art engine, man.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
You make a good point there, Active. I don't understand why they got 600 people working on one game.
Yeah, they do.
What's the point of that?
They're on an assembly line, man. It's like pop it out. Let's work on the next one. They're working on the next 3 Assassin's Creed games right now. Like that's why they have 600 people on it. That's why they have up to 1,000 people on it because they're making all these games simultaneously, pumped out every.
And that's why they are not
very good.
That's why they're not good because you overlapping stories and it's like trying to draw 3 pictures at the same time. Like, man, why don't you just focus on one picture? You know. But anyway,
I think the 600 people. I think each person is making an Assassin's Creed game. We good for the next 600 years.
And just to be straight with people, like I don't want Mario Kart every year. I don't want Smash every year. I wouldn't support that every year if they had.
I was going to bring up Mario Kart. I was going to say they said that this pack is the last one, right? Because they said that they're heading into like stopping the development of this actual game. So the game been in development for all this time. And I said, yeah, hopefully they stop and they start making a Mario Kart for the launch of the next system.
Right.
Because I really feel they need a multiplayer game. And I know it ain't going to be Smash at launch. So Mario Kart should definitely... Honestly, Mario Kart in a 3D Mario game would be perfect. Like,
Mario
even if it's
128. Mario 128 for the win.
and I don't mean, on the handheld, actual, home console. Launch or something like that, something big that's going to invite people to play, because it's more than just a single player game.
I think that's part of the beauty of why Nintendo games have lasted so long, why Mario is still relevant, still fun, and still sells well, is we went, 19 years in between 2D Mario games, between Super Mario World and New Super Mario Brothers on the DS.
Yeah, but they should stop now. It's been too
yeah,
long
now they've had enough of the new series, but what I'm saying is, like, people act like...
No, I'm saying that's what people say. I don't even feel like that. I feel like they could keep going. Yeah, I want them to change the new series.
I don't like the new series. The name, anyway. I don't like the name
they could.
of it.
I want them to change the art style and everything. Like, I want another 2D game, but not another new Super Mario Brothers game.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's sad because there's more 3D Assassin's Creed games than there are 3D Mario games. That's pretty sad.
That's
Assassin's Creed and now Zeldas, I think.
3D Zeldas for sure.
That was my first video, and actually somebody commented on it today. I said some facts for the haters was the name of the video, and I pointed out how many iterations of franchises there are, and like since 2005 we've had like 5 or 6 Forza games, and we've only had, at that time we had only had 7 Mario Kart games in like 20 some years, and it was just like, it was very eye-opening when I did the research to look up, Ratchet and Clank's on like 11 different games.
How many other games are there? Like what, 15?
Like the 2D, 3D combined.
No, all of them combined.
With like 4 swords, everything. It was like 19, I think. That's including.
So it's like 19. How many Assassin's Creed do they got? They got like 17 of them behind closed doors.
And that's including handhelds and everything. Like that was like that was like 10 different consoles or something, 10 or 11. So
there's no reason for a new franchise that started a generation ago to have 10, 11, or 12 entries.
It's ridiculous.
Like Call of Duty, I get it. Like Nia said, you just point in and shooting. You change up the maps, you add one little gimmick right there, and all right, fine, that passes as a new game. Because the most important part of those games is obviously your surroundings and the shooting part. So there's not really much you're gonna be able to do, unless you really want to change up the whole thing. So the milking that is fine. And the other thing is that a lot of the time those games actually do work. And people and eyeballs and all this.
Yeah, those games actually come out most of the time. Most of them working pretty well. Right. I mean, they're pretty polished. So I think that's why another reason why that's continued to be successful is they have a pretty good quality control. I mean, some of the balancing, people complain about weapon balancing and stuff, but the actual game, for the most part, other than Black Ops 1 on the PS3, have all run pretty well, so I think that's helped them. So
New Call of Duty should be the eye opener. You know what I mean? Because this is the first Trailhorn, which they're the main Call of Duty team, and it's the first one of their 3-year development cycle.
Yep.
So if this thing doesn't wow people, I don't know what the hell they're doing for 3 years.
That's the most time they've ever had to work.
The biggest jump in the city. This has to be the Call of Duty 4 of this generation. And if it's not, then that's a damn shame. But since we're on Call of Duty, real quick, let me just say, You know, people complain about Microsoft always starting their conferences with Call of Duty, but at least what you're seeing is actually the game. Unlike a lot of these other games that is, CGI and all this other nonsense.
Yeah, and I
So
think
really,
it's good.
it's like we can't even complain no more about that.
I think that's good to point that out because it's one of the biggest games every year. But they also, like we said, they're polished, and you said they actually show you the game when they show it. They show you gameplay. I mean, they'll show like some of the cinematic scenes, but they show you.
They're showing you walking at turtle speeds, but they showing you the game.
Yeah, so you can look around and appreciate the beauty. But yeah, anything? Anybody want to comment on season passes? I kind of was going to group those together. I mean, I don't do them myself, and since it doesn't affect me, it don't really bother me. But how do you guys feel? Just kind of real quick. Yeah, I did do the Hyrule one. That was
my first and last.
Fanboy, and that's
and it was just I was disappointed. The boss one that one's really lame. I was expecting that to be the good one. So I'll never do a season pass again. But
I don't think I've ever bought a season pass for anything.
I was gonna say the same thing. I haven't.
And it was $20. It's not like it was
$20 for a lot of stuff.
And I bought the Mario Kart. They showed us quite a bit. I pre-ordered the Mario Kart DLC.
But is that a season pass?
That's not really a season pass.
It could be.
If I've already been playing the game and like I've enjoyed the game, I'm gonna get the DLC. Like I don't think that's a problem. But I think it's kind of ridiculous to ask people to buy content before the game even comes out. They haven't yet had a chance to like play the base game.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, I mean, a few times actually, I meant to say not a lot, they didn't really come out with much content. Like they actually had to refund Battlefield 4 actually had to refund people's money because they didn't have the content available because they're busy patching it. And like the Last of Us, got one like add-on, and it was like a $15 thing, and I. Not 100%, but I think there was a season pass because there was some multiplayer maps and stuff released. But overall, they really didn't add a lot. So
basically, a season pass is where you buy all the DLC prior to the game releasing.
And in most cases, it's just promised things you don't even know what's coming. Sometimes
that's foolish.
Snap! Breaking news: Splatoon. You go on the eShop right now, and you could pre-order 17 new maps.
Oh no!
It sounds ridiculous when you actually say it out loud. Like when you go to GameStop, if you buy like Call of Duty or you buy Battlefield, they ask you, "Hey, do you want to buy the season pass for this?" Like the launch day it comes out, they're already trying to get that $50 from you.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically paying $100 for a game.
Yeah. 100.
You know what I just remembered? These developers really be trying to get that money quick. Remember, I think it was Assassin's Creed 3. Didn't they like announce the game and was, oh yeah, you go to GameStop pre-order and get a steelbook?
Yeah. Or
Wasn't
you can get
3?
4. You can get like speed pants or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
no speed pants though.
Like you gotta give up plastic just to get that money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Pre-order incentives are another thing that's kind of becoming an ugly thing, but
I don't mind them if it's like, oh, pre-order, and when the game comes out, you're gonna get this thing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, even if it works, but like, steelbook for your game when you get it eventually a year from now.
Yeah.
Like even when I got Hyrule Warriors, I bought the season pass, but I bought it after I played the game and realized, I want more. That's.
I ain't gonna lie though. I can't say can't lie. If they said go pre-order Splatoon tomorrow and get Squid Girl amiibo, I'm in there, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, but in that case, that's different because you're not paying extra for a thing. That's just an incentive to go pre-order. Like it's another thing when you're pre-purchasing content you don't even know you're gonna like.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The
like
fact
those are
that
two completely different scenarios.
The fact that they
like,
already
you
know this
refund on
stuff.
PSN and Xbox. Like let's say you pre-order. Oh, I'm gonna pre-order this season pass of whatever game that's gonna be broken. Game comes out is broken. You're like, damn, this thing is a mess. And it's like, yeah, I already gave them, $25 for the season pass. Can you get your money back? That's what I want to know.
Oh man, that's your ass.
I mean,
that's the crazy thing about it is the fact that you are already selling extra material before the game came out, and you could have that material in the game. So that tells me it's just retarded, man. It's
held back
retarded.
stuff to sell extra.
Yeah,
put it in the damn game.
We can
why is it not in the game? It's like, come on, man.
we can just segue right into the final topic, which is adding DLC, launch day DLC, and actually finish like the DLC is actually finishing the story or like making the game complete,
That
which we were
sucks.
just starting to talk about. So we might as well keep going with that.
I'm definitely not okay with that.
That's
What game you had to? What game you had to like pre-purchase the ending? Was that Prince of Persia the last one or something like that?
Purchase it.
I don't remember.
Like
That's
it was like hold on. So the ending is there, but you didn't put it on the game. I gotta buy that.
I know you. I don't know if it was. I can't remember. Mass Effect 3. If you had to buy the better ending because of the
The
outcry.
better ending.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And they had Destiny. Basically, the ending is going to be in the form of DLC. Like they're going to complete the story, which was very short from what everyone told me.
What story?
Yeah, there was barely anything there, and they had like this plan for this game for like a 10-year plan or whatever they were saying to support it. Ridiculous, something like that. And it's
You know
like,
how every keep on here.
and it's just like, why can't you make a complete game if I'm paying $60? Why is it okay to pay 60 for a quarter of the game or half the game or even three-quarters? It's like I said in the last podcast when I was mentioning this topic, Smash, they didn't have the game ready, so they sold it to us, still fairly complete, but not everything they wanted. And now they're just giving us the rest of the game for no additional charge whenever it's ready, which I think will be when Mewtwo comes out. We'll get the rest of the modes, but that's how you do it if you're gonna get the game out before it's 100% done as far as the game modes. Then you just give it to people, no extra charge. But a lot of these other publishers and developers, they want to charge people additional.
I mean, what does that say about the consumer, man? I mean,
Not a lot.
it says a lot.
They're drones.
Huh?
They're
What'd
not
you say?
consumers. They're drones.
Right. It's
Literally,
like
they want it ever. It's not even a joke. It's like they're really robots now. They just do it as they're told.
You can't get mad at the companies for taking the money that's given to them. Like, if you're gonna give me the money, I'm gonna keep taking it. Like,
Exactly.
so you got to blame the consumers. You got to blame the gamers for these. Like I said, broken gamers equals the broken games. It doesn't go the other way. It has to start
And
with
we
us.
the ones who suffer because they don't care about us. They're like, what? You don't want broken games. Everybody else do. Sorry for you.
And a perfect example of how that's acceptable to especially the younger gamers. It was the Borderlands Handsome Edition or whatever. I think what does that come with? Borderlands 2 and the Borderlands prequel.
And the pre-sequel.
And I think it's $60 game or whatever, includes all the DLC. And that, okay, if you got a PS4 and you didn't play those games, that sounds like a lot of content. And I'm just like, but I forget what I said, but someone came back and saying, well, for $60, you're getting like $200 worth of DLC plus 2 games. And I'm like, wait, did you say $200 worth of DLC? He's like, yeah, each game has about $100 worth of DLC, which is included in this package.
Wow.
In his perspective, you're getting a great deal. All that stood out to me was those games had $100 worth of DLC each, or maybe it wasn't exactly 100, but somewhere near that. And he's like, oh, yeah, you got this, and this. There's so much stuff. Turned out the kid was 15 years old. I didn't know. I was sitting there having a debate with him. In his mind, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, well, when your mom buys stuff for you, I said, when you get a job and you spending your own money, you'll understand why that's a problem. And
when the game's DLC costs more than the retail game, we have reached critical, people. We have reached
so basically
critical.
you're paying $160 for a game, and in my mind that's not cool. So
And let me ask this question: isn't all this already on the disc?
not well.
Some of it is already locked away on the disc, right?
Sometimes, like
I don't think so in this case.
Not all of them.
Okay, not in this case. Okay.
But
No.
the
But
But that
Destiny,
wouldn't be a bad thing if it was like 3 years later, and you're like, oh yeah, I bought $100 worth of DLC, but it's like, hey, they kept you entertained with that $160 purchase you did 3 years ago.
mhm.
Like, then it wouldn't be a problem. It's like, and then eventually when it starts, a brand new game comes out. That's the way I think DLC should work.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how
you
you
can
can
pick
pick about
and
the
choose.
Mario Kart. It's like
I
people
really
say,
buy
oh, 6 months
DLC.
gap.
Like the only DLC I've ever bought is the Mario Kart. Both the Link
Yeah, the
and
pack,
then
yeah.
was about to come out, I guess, in the next few weeks or months. I don't know. But anyway, that's only DLC I've ever bought ever in game, and I don't really care to buy DLC. I've never seen any DLC or season pass that was worth purchasing, in my opinion. So that's why I don't know much about it, because I'm not that type of consumer.
Yeah, I bought it for Call of Duty a couple years on Xbox because everybody I knew was getting it, and I didn't want to not be able to play with them because they're playing on the new maps. So it kind of felt pressured. But that's other than Mario Kart.
I only did it for Call of Duty 4. Never did it for no other one.
I got it for Pikmin. I got DLC for
I did get
Fire Emblem Awakening. Like I bought all, but the thing is, it was so cheap, where it would cost so much more on another game. Like, so it was like a no-brainer when you're getting like full-on maps for like $1.50.
$2. That Pikmin DLC is $2.
I was flirting with it with I remember when Street Fighters 4 was it Street Fighters? Yeah. Was released on the PlayStation 3, and I bought it. And this was before the Ryu and Akuma new, evil Ryu and the Ultimate Akuma. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
But they had the DLC for both characters. Now they cost like $12 a piece.
Right.
For one character.
Well,
and then this the crazy thing about it. This the crazy thing about it. I almost, because they was looking so fierce, man. I almost bought them, but the game.
Slap yourself.
Right, I don't have to because I didn't. About 2 months later, they released a Street Fighters with those characters and all the other downloadable characters on the game on that disc for $60.
Yep.
I didn't end up getting that as well, but it's crazy what they're doing.
You got Evolve, and they're charging you $2-3 for a color change, like a different color,
like a different character skin or something.
They're trying really not to make me be multi-console.
Well, the thing with Evolve was they said when we're developing the game, we're developing this game around DLC, and people took that like holy crap. But the thing that kind of makes that an okay statement is their last game. What'd they have? Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead, yeah.
They didn't code in any way to like add much, so that kind of people wanted created their own on PC. They created their own characters, like you'd have freaking Samus in there or something.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be able to bring that to people, and that's what they meant by it. But the way it sounded terrible when they said it. They're building the game around DLC, and that kind of came true because you had to pay like $15-20 for one creature. The first one that's coming out is going to be like, if you didn't pre-order, you got to pay like $15 for one creature.
Yeah.
And
It's not a full game. It's not a satisfying game if you just buy the retail version of the game.
No.
Nothing else.
Just save the DLC money. Get yourself a new 3DS. Buy Monster Hunter with like what 70-something monsters.
You know what I mean?
It's a better game. Like I don't understand how people just sit there with them cheeks spread like that.
Wow.
That's crazy. So I mean, look, let's play this.
I mean, I played both the Evolve Alpha and the Evolve Beta, and I think it's a good game. I think they just messed it up with all that.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not
DLC.
talking about the game itself. It's just.
It's good, but the final game's basically the demo. Like, there's not much more to it. It's the same mode repeated, and there's not a whole lot. Like,
yeah, that's why I was like, whenever I do get it, I'm gonna have to get it for like $20-30 on like a Steam sale or something. But I wasn't gonna go and get it for $60.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't pay full price. But I thought I heard that they were gonna release maps for free, but you have to pay for everything else. But I don't know if that's true. So.
Free maps.
I think plenty of grenades were launched here. We hit all the topics, and I thought we did a excellent job. But we got a lot of questions. I'm going to try to rapid fire these. I'm going to pick specific people's just so we're not all answering every question.
Can I add something real quick though?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so you know how every Zelda game, not saying the new one's going to follow this formula, but a lot of them, they have the, you get 3 things and there's a major twist and you get 5 things and then you end the game. Like, that's the way it usually went with Ocarina of Time, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel if in the new one you got the 3 things, right? You got the twist, then you got the 5 things, but before you got to the dungeon, it said, pay up, $19.99.
Yeah. To enter this dungeon, we need.
Yeah, like what?
I would be so
And
mad.
Ganondorf laughs at you like in the old Zelda game.
I would be
Yeah.
so upset.
Yeah, that would that would be more of the what do they call that? The free to play crap where
Yeah,
you
people probably love that.
that's
Mm-mm.
crap. So hopefully that never happens and everyone asks for, Iwata, or a lot of people ask for Iwata to step down or get some new blood in there, but I'm afraid that the old Nintendo ways will leave with him and we'll start to see some of these trends happening and Nintendo will be doing it and then we'll be really screwed, so.
Yeah.
It's
Step
the
down to
last
water, even though I don't.
last original video game system around.
Water
I'm
step
scared if
down.
Iwata goes. Oh man.
Even though I don't know business or I don't really understand your job, step down to water.
Yeah.
I love
You're
that.
making games that work. Step down. You're not
When
making a job, step down.
I believe Adam Sessler, right when Nintendo announced they weren't going to have an E3 press conference, said Iwata should be fired back
I remember
then.
that rant. I remember that.
And that's when I really started to question him. But anyway, let's get to
I
these
always hated
questions.
that fool.
Yeah, he's an idiot. But first off, Island Hopper says he predicted that this podcast will be as awesome as part 1. So thank you. Hopefully it was. Island Hopper, he's really good at predicting when I leave hints at the end of my videos. He's like 2 for 2 on predicting what I was hinting at. So props to him. So anyway, Tony Karan, I'm going to ask this to Mizzah T because I know he had both these systems. What is your favorite Super Nintendo and Genesis game of all time?
Super Nintendo would be a Link to the Past, easy, and Genesis would probably be Contra Hardcore.
Oh.
I
I
love that
never
game.
knew that. I never knew that game existed.
Oh, that's a game that needs to be in your Genesis library if you have a Genesis.
I never had one.
Oh.
Let's see, who was that? Did I say who that question? Oh, that was from Tony Crane. So Island Hopper. I'll read the question and then I'll think who should answer it. Why has controller Red? This one's for you. Why has controller design stagnated? I don't know if that's a word, but gone stagnant. Nintendo and Sega used to offer very different controllers system to system, but now they seem to be stuck in a variant of the NES or Super NES / DualShock variety. Why do you think that is, and is this really the best control method for most games?
I'm gonna just say it's the same thing with the broken gamers. Broken games. Gamers don't want options, so you're gonna be stuck with what you got. Like they don't want variety no more.
Yeah.
But what was that he said about the controller? Which controller?
He thinks that they're stuck on the Super NES and DualShock.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've been stuck on.
I mean,
And
yeah,
then people wonder why- and you get more people saying that, oh yeah, but games like the same, just better graphics. Why they don't change? Because the change that comes, y'all look the other way all the time. The gamepad, ain't nobody gonna utilize it when y'all not supporting it. And I mean gamers didn't go out there and buy the Arkham City, probably because they already had it and these games was old, can't blame them. But that actually used the gamepad and the next one didn't because it didn't matter.
Yeah. There's no excuse for Deus Ex though. Deus
Yeah.
Ex should have sold a lot better.
Yeah.
It uses the gamepad beautifully.
If that would have been out when it was supposed to be exclusive in like April.
Yeah,
Well,
I
let me
think
go
that's
back.
what hurt that.
I think the problem was it was more expensive.
Yeah, and it was like $30 more than the 360
Yeah,
and PS3 versions.
I still think we should have supported that one. That's a great game.
Yeah, we should. Nintendo fans get sensitive when they lose exclusivity.
It just came out at a bad time. It came out right after Wind Waker and right before 3D World.
Well, we thought it was coming out. It was supposed to be coming out. Everybody was looking for it in May.
Yeah,
Between May and June.
Yeah, it was
And
kind of
then
a
it didn't
stealth
come
release
out.
deal.
Then
Yeah.
it went
Yeah.
to a multi-plat, and then that's why they delayed it.
Right.
So it could release at the same time.
Yeah.
Um,
It's still being more expensive for us.
mhm. Because they
I
put
don't
that extra.
I don't necessarily see a problem with what these. Well, you got to exclude Nintendo, but Sony and Microsoft have done far as not really advancing the controller, but at the same time, it's a shame when a company is advancing and is shot down because my company didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the gamepad should have been a testament and something to aspire to, and it was literally shot down because it wasn't developed by Microsoft or Sony. And then when
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
you know, when the smart glass comes out, and it makes literally no kind of real sense for, you know what I'm saying, gaming to put down one controller to pick up another controller. For some reason, that is intelligent, and then a touch, whatever you call it, on the PlayStation 4. I got into this with Hip Hop Gamer. I'm like, wait a minute, I caught him up. I caught him up so well. I set him up, and he hit it.
Hook,
He
line, and
knocked the
sinker.
ball out the park, and once he knocked it out, anyway, so I said, so he was talking about how innovative the PlayStation 4 the controller was for the PlayStation 4, and his main reason for it being innovative, I was like, why is it so innovative? He was like, because of the touchpad. And I was like, okay, so if the touchpad is innovative, are you telling me a touch screen isn't? And he couldn't go nowhere because he really had thought he had. I was like, man, it's just the logic and it's just crazy. But yeah, I don't see nothing wrong if you're going to stick where you at, but at the same time, don't knock innovation when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
You know what I'm
against
saying?
controllers.
That's that mentality.
I'll never forget that, man.
I will.
Crazy.
I will give Microsoft some credit. They have improved since the original Xbox controller. The fat.
What, bumpers? I mean,
the Xbox.
The skin of the controller. That's it.
The feel of it is.
Like I hate when
It's
people say,
good, it's nice.
The Pro controller is a ripoff of the Xbox. How can you rip off yourself? Like these controllers just want to be Super Nintendo controllers.
Yeah, the Xbox controller is a ripoff of the Dreamcast, which is a ripoff of the Super Nintendo. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's so stupid. Like Nintendo.
I always felt like the Xbox kind of borrowed from the Dreamcast and the game.
Oh, it did.
Cube
It did.
controller.
It did.
You know, the C stick basically became your second analog.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Microsoft and Sega had a partnership back then.
Right. I think Nintendo also, Nintendo with the gamepad, it should have had analog triggers
I think so.
rather than digital.
Yeah,
I think
that's
hurt
one
too.
gripe for sure. It should definitely had.
My right trigger's kind of busted. Like the plastic, it still works, but it makes a annoying click sound because like the hinge, the little pivot point, must have cracked from playing.
It don't matter. They ain't getting no racing games.
No, I know. But
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. Like when you play, and I'm pretty sure the game Cube controller had analog, right? If I'm not
It
mistaken.
Yeah.
When you play Double Dash, it's just a different feel. I mean,
Yes.
it's a different feel than playing the Mario Kart on Wii and the one on Wii U. Not to say that the Wii U isn't good, because it is, but it doesn't feel like Double Dash. It doesn't feel like that.
That was a step back for sure.
I made a video about because I got Trials Fusion on my PC, and it's like a motorcycle platformer, and that game is so reliant on analog triggers for the brake and gas. Like you can't play it without, because you half the strategy or the technique is holding in the brake halfway and feathering the throttle just enough, just barely pushing on it to climb a hill. Like that game probably would have came to the Wii U, but without analog triggers, they just couldn't.
We got Need for Speed Most Wanted U, and it's just not.
Right, right. I was just gonna go there. Need for Speed, it just doesn't have the proper feel.
It didn't feel right.
It's like it just don't feel right just holding the trigger down.
Mm-hmm. And it took they did implement kind of a fix for that, but it took me a long time to get used to it.
Right, and that's a testament to Nintendo. That's one of my gripes with Nintendo's, even though in innovation, they still have this mindset of not going all out with it. Like, I think the gamepad is a great controller, but I think it limited itself to how great it could have been had they, even with a better design, better look, a better appealing controller all the way around. I still love it, but hindsight, not so caught up in the hype of it anymore. I can look at it and be honest about it. Like, I probably would have designed it a little bit differently, and I definitely would have put analogs. I would have made the triggers longer, where you can actually feel like you can push forward and actually got some distance before you were cut off to a full sprint. So there's a lot of design issues with
They're hard-headed, man. Sometimes they're hard. Even Red said it when he's talking about Metroid Prime. He was like, if it wasn't for retro, we probably wouldn't have got a freaking nunchuck in there in the box with the Wii. So
wow,
because they're hard.
The M would have been definite, no matter what.
Oh man,
we would have Mario Galaxy of the M version. Playing that, imagine playing that with a D-pad.
Well,
oh my goodness!
They did that with 3D World, like at the little E3 demo. You had to use the D-pad on the Wii remote to play that.
But that game it has that that design for that, like
got the 8-direction movement.
Even though it's a 3D game, it is only it has that kind of that it has a 2D feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a 3D
So
game.
before we get to the next one, let me just say, if Sony would have supported the actual move, not even Sony alone, but gamers too, went out in droves and bought it, and demanded like Uncharted use it, they would have did it because I think they would have listened to the audience, and we would have probably right now we would have had a PlayStation 4 with a motion control and getting crazy games.
Mm-hmm.
But nope.
Well, I think Sony was planning on making a controller with a screen in it. I think once they saw that, and goes back to journalists and those who kind of control the message. Once they purposely downplayed the gamepad, Sony went a different direction. But I guarantee you, Sony had a controller with a screen in it planned to rival this gamepad. But once they saw it went this other direction, then that's where that touch screen, whatever that crap is, came. Because that thing don't even make any kind of sense. It really doesn't make sense.
Sony's always copying.
Remember when they had a camera? They had a camera for the PS4. It was going to be in the box.
Right. My question is, and I know this is good. I mean, I know we got other questions, but with Nintendo, to me, they always did put a lot of research into their controller. Like when I think about the N64 controller, and the rumble pack, the 360-degree, analog, that was the first time, really not the first time, but the perfected with Mario 64, and it had 6 buttons on the front plus triggers. It was like it was designed goofy, but for that time it was cool. Then you get the GameCube controller and analog and the Z, lock on trigger with the Zelda, and then you get to the the Wii remote. And, of course, they didn't put the, Motion Plus at the start, but eventually we got to Motion Plus and the nunchuck. It seemed like the game pad is like Nintendo went safe, even though they was being innovative. And I don't know. That's how I felt about it.
We should have a whole podcast on controllers. I mean, just going from beginning to now. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but we're gonna push along. We got. I'm just going to do some rapid fire. I'm going to read first. Bear Hugger 29 says that he just saw that Nintendo Store is now selling back plates for the new 3DS XL that you can buy. They have black, red, the Zelda, and the Monster Hunter one. So it's almost like the face plates, but of the smaller XL or new 3DS, but you can only get them for the back because that is removable. So that's from $8 to $13 ranging. So if you have 3DS, let's say you have the gunmetal black one like I have, and I want to add the Zelda on the bottom, I guess I could if I wanted to. So that's kind of breaking news.
That's cool. They're trying to do something to appease us over here.
Would have been better to have the faceplate, but anyway.
That's not good enough.
We've been spending too much time bashing Nintendo the last 15 minutes. We need to.
I was going to say, this should be a trilogy. We should definitely do one next week, and it should be all about the positives in the industry. No, seriously, though.
The
state of, because it's the state of the industry, and we only been talking about the horrible.
We covered some of the positives of the indies in the first one.
Oh, in the first 8 minutes, and I wasn't here. I see how it is.
No, not
you bring me here to launch grenades, right? That's what it is.
Yeah. So, Player Essence Francis asks, what do you guys and Gal think of Dragon Quest Heroes? Anybody interested? I've never even heard of it, so.
Me either.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Isn't it like Hyrule Warriors?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. It's
Yes,
like
that
it
is
is.
the one.
I think it's a Musu game, yeah.
Yes, it is.
And I think it looked real good. I thought I saw a trailer of that a while ago.
What's that coming out on? Probably PS4.
Exclusively
I think it's
for the
PS4.
best next generation console with no games. Oh no, I'm PlayStation 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
All right, Shadow Fox Infinite.
Nah, skip him. Not just kidding.
Do you think Nintendo threw Microsoft and Sony off with the Wii U launching first and forced them to change their designs release for their consoles earlier than planned? Possibly an explanation of the broken games and all the drought that they've had. I'm not. You know what? They were.
We still blaming broken games on Nintendo somehow.
Yeah. So I guess just one person, if somebody wants to take that question.
It's obvious. I mean, I jump
Pretty
on
obvious.
that.
Yeah.
It's obvious, even down to the fact that most of the launch games were still going to, and to the 7th generation. They couldn't even break themselves away from that market because there was so many consumers there. But yeah, I think Nintendo forced their hands and forced them to jump ahead of their schedule, especially Microsoft. I think Microsoft really jumped out there because I don't think they was ready. And, I don't think Sony was ready either.
Yeah.
They would have milked
the games.
PlayStation 3 and Xbox. Yeah, they was gonna milk. They was gonna milk that 7th gen probably another year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been coming out. They should have came out this past Christmas, not the one previous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not even, because I mean, look at what they got coming out. I think they could have went another year.
I'm saying,
Right.
I'm looking
This
around.
I'm being honest though.
Yeah, I
Like
agree
it
with
was pretty much Twilight Princess, but for every game.
Mm-hmm.
And when people nagged about Twilight Princess, oh, why is it coming out first on the Wii and not on the GameCube when it's done on the GameCube?
Yep.
It was like, you know why? Because they basically trying to make their new system sell. But
Right.
these guys, they did that with everything. And Sony did it even worse with like Last of Us. Like, oh, I know you just played everything last year. We're going to give it to you again. Enjoy.
And it wasn't
And
about
everybody
trying to
bought it.
make the system sell because they know that they were too afraid to just launch it on the new system alone, and obviously they just started making money on their last gen consoles. So
Right.
they're not gonna let that money go away.
Well, look what happened to Call of Duty Ghost. It had its Call of Duty had the worst year it had since Call of Duty 4 or 3 because there was just too many new systems and people were scattered. Like my buddy had a PS4, another buddy had an Xbox. I had the Wii U.
But hasn't the new one also done worse?
No, this one's done better than Ghost, I believe, or it's on track to.
That much fun.
It did sell pretty well. So, Guarana, I believe that is Wheels Pig from my Mario Kart 8 tournaments. Does anyone really expect Star Fox to come out this year? We haven't seen a screenshot yet, but somehow it's going to make it out in a few months. Even smaller budget
cannot
titles.
answer this one.
Even smaller budget titles like Kirby and Toad, we got to see what they look like months before launch. I mean, almost a year, like 8-10 months before launch. So that's an interesting point.
I think that we're going to see it. I think that Miyamoto just doesn't want to show us until he's ready to show us, and that's just what it is.
Miyamoto from the old school. He liked surprising people.
Exactly.
We still don't think surprise that actually is cool for video games.
I think we're going to see it, but I kind of agree that we probably won't get it.
For him to say that it's coming out before Zelda, and Zelda's coming out this year. For him to say
On 2017.
for him to say he said it's coming out before Zelda,
Mm-hmm.
that's confidence. He knows his game's coming out. So I feel like
You
there's
think-
no question about it. Like he could have just said, he could have said anything else, but it's coming out before Zelda.
Yeah,
I'll
because
just say this.
they won't even give you
surprised
a
if
window.
Right?
Don't be
Nintendo,
surprised.
this is Nintendo here.
Don't
they
be
won't even give you a
surprised to hear
window if they're
Iwata
not
say-
sure.
Don't
Go
be
ahead,
surprised to hear Iwata say, I apologize. I can
Oh
see
my
that happening.
goodness.
I can see him saying it. I apologize. We've had to push. Because it was the same thing with Donkey Kong, man. They was talking about, and then they shift.
But Donkey Kong was
Mario.
ready though. that was a strategic,
Yeah, for
Right.
less of a drought.
Mhm.
right.
But let me say this: the thing with Nintendo that this bothers me too a lot because a lot of the times people say, "Oh, you hear this all the time." Oh, after Zelda and Xenoblade, that's pretty much it. Remember last year after 3D World
Yeah.
Yeah,
and what
that's
was
it.
it? Not even. It was after Smash Brothers, Hyrule Warriors, and Bayonetta. That's pretty much it. It's like Nintendo don't announce everything at one time,
Right.
and I hate every
No,
time
they
you want to
don't.
say there's more games that we haven't announced.
Mhm.
Like I know, and they know. They just acting stupid. It's like they don't remember the
People
way it
are
goes. It's like
impatient.
they gotta be like like everybody else. Announce 57 games,
But
and they
And
ain't coming out no time soon. Like 2 3 years
Nintendo's
from
always done this. I don't understand why we
Exactly.
still talking about this.
This is not
This is
new.
not new at
and
all.
now. And it's like, oh yeah, what you got? You got Splatoon, X, and Zelda. So Yoshi disappeared. Devil Third is gone.
Right.
Star Fox,
What? Star Fox doesn't
Mario
exist.
Maker.
Mario Maker, all the games that you know that they're gonna. So they're gonna go to E3 with nothing.
Whatever
Because
Retro's
Splatoon ain't
working
going to
on.
E3.
Yeah.
Because we know
You know
Retro's
Retro.
doing
Splatoon is not
something.
making it to E3 though.
Next level's making something too.
All right,
Next level. Right. It's so many different. Come on.
let's just go down the line here. Yes or no? Will Star Fox release in 2015? Red Knight
Absolutely not. No. Yeah, I think it will.
leveled.
No.
T.
If it don't release, I will buy all my subscribers a free copy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
It's
boy.
coming. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Look, I'm not gonna say all that, but I think that it is coming this year.
I think it will. When do you think?
I
Okay.
definitely wanted to be pushed back now and get my free copy.
When do you think we'll see it first? Before E3 or at E3? First time we'll see it.
At E3. At
Probably
E3.
at E3.
Yeah, I think it'll be at E3.
I
It's
think
a
we'll see
possibility
a-
before, but
I think we'll see a tease at the next direct before E3.
hey, Water man, don't mess it up, man. I don't got that kind of money.
Honestly, the next direct should just focus on the Mario Kart stuff and Splatoon.
He got his fingers crossed on that, y'all. So don't take him serious.
Not at all, son.
I really,
Right.
I really expect
I'm
them-
making sure they don't take. People. You said you see Black Bum making a video. Well, clearly, Mr. T said he was gonna buy everyone a. So, anyway.
I only got 3 subscribers, so it's all good.
I just lost my train of thought, but let's move on. Capable Tie 7, do you think Nintendo will make a Zelda series of Amiibo when Zelda U launches?
Yes.
I think probably. I really love the design that they went with. So hopefully they do, and
Yes.
hopefully they're available in the stores, and you can just go buy them if you want one.
They won't be. And they'll make a Star Fox one, and you already got rumors of Splatoon, so I think that's going to be the case for everything.
And speaking of Splatoon, I sent a link. Like some Japanese Nintendo sites like releases these little 30-second clips of just like
Yes.
raw Splatoon gameplay, and
Yeah.
like really high quality, and it looked really cool. I don't know.
You
if
saw the
guys
sleeping
saw it.
cat?
Yep. That was cool.
You know what I can appreciate about Nintendo, even when they going through hard times, they always find something that hits.
Mhm.
Like Pokemon, when they was going through their little bit, Pokemon was going like crazy. Now it's Amiibo. Of course, the Wii did this thing, and it's just they always find something that does it for them. It's crazy.
Quality of life might be next.
Right? They always find something, man, that just sells like crazy.
So I'm gonna ask Red Knight before we're either gonna end right here. We're gonna continue. Jane the Virgin's a new episode, and it's on in 6 minutes. Can you watch it?
Gotta watch that. No.
I mean, I have on demand. I can watch it tomorrow, but I'm gonna ask you if you want to keep going. We'll keep going.
I just want to eat, but I'll stay on for like a few more minutes.
All right. Let's. Bear Hugger's got some comments. He said that the people doing The Witcher
Nobody
3,
cares about that fat Canadian. No.
CD Projekt Red, they're not charging for DLC. They're against paid DLC, so they're going to release 3 DLC packs for free for The Witcher. So that's a reason to support that game. If you're against DLC, paid DLC, then you get some free stuff there. So that's a very Nintendo thing they're doing. And he also said Mario versus Donkey Kong Tipping Stars is awesome. I haven't played it yet.
Yes, it is.
So endless replay value is what he says. So I'm definitely
Yeah,
going to pick that up.
And
Just-
cross-buy.
Yep, cross-buy. I finished Kirby last night, so I'm ready for another touchscreen game.
It's fun and addictive as hell.
Yeah, it
I'll
looks
probably
cool.
get it and do a giveaway for the 3DS one.
Ooh, that's
I'm
cool.
I'm gonna be selfish. I'm on both versions, so when I go to work. And Mega says, please understand we will delay all games till
Freeze.
2020. Now enjoy Wii U 264. Whatever that means.
What?
Wii U 264. That's a hell of a console name.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up. There's quite a few other comments and questions, but we'll save it for the third one.
Where hopefully it'll be all positive.
Yeah, we're gonna find some positives. We'll
That
have to- maybe-
Triforce, yo. That
We're
Triforce.
gonna have to wait a while till we find some positives, but so yeah, great discussion
That's not
again.
true. We just spoke of some you know, cross that whole cross game. That's
Yep.
a positive
Cross
from
by
Sony
the
and
Ali
Nintendo
Ali.
now.
That indie title has crossed by,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll save it. We'll save that. We'll save
but
it.
all
Then
right,
we'll have nothing.
yeah. All right, let's just final thoughts and sign offs. We'll start with Nia.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Nia again, the video game her on YouTube, and I'm gonna try to make this real quick because this is like kind of important. Well, it's very important. So, a group of friends of mine are putting together a live streaming event, a charity event for one of our fellow friends. She's also a gamer, and she was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease last year. And I've got information about it, but I don't want to like take up too much of y'all's time. But I would ask Terminator Juice if he would please put the link in the description about the information about the live stream. If you can't, donate to her cause, maybe just check out the stream and just kind of share it around and kind of spread awareness, because there's so much negativity in like gaming right now about how the media always wants to make gamers look like monsters, but there are so many gamers out there that are just, they care about people too. So this is just, yet another example. So
Definitely.
I'm in on that.
Yep, send me that link and I'll share it once this uploads.
Okay.
So and definitely you'll probably have that posted on Google.
Yeah.
It's already, yeah, I saw it on AGL. Was
Okay.
it AGL you put it on? ActiveGamerLife?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I posted it
that's
today.
where I saw it.
All right, so everybody check that out. It's definitely a good cause. Gamers should come together more often. We shouldn't have really any reason to hate each other or be against each other. We're all gamers, and this sounds like definitely a good cause that I'm definitely going to check out. So I'm in kind of the money spending mood, so I might as well give some to a good cause. So appreciate that. Mizzah T, final thoughts?
Yeah, I will be sharing that in my next video. That's I saw that. It's great stuff.
Thanks, man.
Definitely. Yeah, had a great time. Make sure you guys join us for the next one of this Triforce. We're going to talk about some positives, and that'll be like a 10-minute podcast. And no, just kidding. Yeah, I had a great time. Look forward to the next one, and don't forget to play Nintendo, fools.
Oh, good grief.
All right, Level.
Oh man, hey everybody, just enjoyed myself on Terminator's Juice podcast. Enjoyed all the guests tonight. Look forward to the next opportunity to chop it up with you guys. And yes, make sure you support what Nia was talking about. I'm gonna try to check that out and see all what's going on to see if I can support it as well. And like I said, man, tune into my channel when I do have videos. That's how it is in my life right now. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in, and look forward to chopping it up with y'all next time.
All right, glad to have you back, and Nia T, you're always welcome. And Red, I'm glad you could join us. I wasn't sure. We were about 10 minutes in. I thought we weren't going to have you. So, any final thoughts? Any last words?
Nothing besides subscribe to ActiveGamerLife. Check out the link in the description for what Nia was talking about, and yeah, that's it. I'm gonna just leave it short and sweet.
All right, yeah, because we gotta go watch Jane the Virgin, because that show's awesome. If you haven't checked it out, definitely it's a funny show. So, thanks everybody. Thanks all the viewers, all the questions, and maybe we'll do a part 3. We'll see how it goes. But appreciate everyone who watches and supports The Juice is Loose, and thanks to my guest one more time for having another great discussion. So that's it, and we'll see you in the next one.